finally the day. The presidential nominees have made their
Take a look at the presidential race
after a long, contentious presidential.
Look at all these wins we're projecting for Hillary Clinton right now. Take a look at the electoral map.
It seemed to confirm what the media and political establishment had been saying for months. Donald Trump never had a chance.
And CNN projects Donald Trump will carry the state of Florida. With its 29 electoral votes,
There's a big old call to make right now. Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin, and there goes her blue wall.
But I was on the way to winning until the combination of Jim Comey's letter on October 28th and Russian WikiLeaks raised doubts in the minds of people who were inclined to vote for me but got scared off. And the evidence for that intervening event is, I think, compelling, persuasive.
For her to show up at that inauguration, it's the second time that...
And she started crying a little bit again. I don't know, man. I don't know. I get sick of people making excuses for her. She blew it. See that? Nobody thinks that. She blew it. Look, you lost to a guy who said 3 things a week that would torpedo anybody else's campaign. How do you do that? That's like you're playing a football game and the other team throws 20 interceptions and you still figure out how to blow it. At what point do you take responsibility?
Well, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of Hillary Clinton losing the 2016 presidential election and Donald Trump pulling off one of the biggest upsets in presidential history. Democrats have stated over and over and over again, there's just no way she could have lost. There must have been some kind of shenanigans.
Shenanigans! Shenanigans!
Mrs. Clinton recently came out with a book for all the reasons why she lost the elections and why many other people believe that she lost the election was simply for one reason and one reason alone. Russia. Russia, 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 Russia. This is Super Saiyan Mouse with Volcano Me.
From Russia with love, I fly to you, much wiser.
Yes, another person ranting about the 2016 presidential election, especially when I'm a year behind this. I know what you're thinking. What could you possibly add that hasn't already been said? Plenty. I wouldn't even be doing this unless I would have a few other additional things to say and point out a few things that I'm actually shocked nobody else has pointed out. Before I go any further, I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about Bernie Sanders. I'm not going to talk about the Democratic primaries. I'm not going to talk about Donna Brazile. Yes, I'm aware of the fact that she had a big breaking news that, Hillary might have been money laundering throughout the DNC. In fact, I'm rarely even going to talk about Trump. I'm going to simply focus on Hillary. And I'm going to stick with the numbers and the real reason why she lost that election. And before I begin my tirade, let me just say one thing. I have a personal rule of mine. I never, ever tell anybody who I voted for until at least 4 or 5 years after an election. So I'll start with this Volcano by saying that I'm about to break that rule, not by saying who I voted for, but who I didn't vote for. I didn't vote for either Trump or Hillary. I thought last year about breaking my silence with Volcano Me's. There's just one problem. I didn't like either of the two candidates, so I said, well, nothing for me to complain about. It doesn't matter anyway. Hillary's just going to win. Let's get something straight here about myself, and I don't mean to brag, but this is a fact. I have voted in every single solitary election since I turned 18 years old. No. I'm not talking about just the presidential elections. No, I'm not talking about just the midterm elections. I showed for every mayor election, city council election, commissioner district election, superintendent election. Hell, I'm not making this up. I was the tie-breaking vote in a sewer district commissioner election. I have an impeccable, el perfecto record when it comes to turnout to vote. Last year, that was in jeopardy. Because I had to look at myself in the morning. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this, and I can't believe I didn't bring it up. If I were to ask Hillary Clinton just two questions, under the condition that we had the Wonder Woman lasso where she had to tell the truth, because I don't believe she's going to tell me the truth. Which would be this. One, did you really believe Bill when he said that he did not have relations with Monica? Because according to Hillary Clinton's previous book that she wrote, she said that she was literally fourth last to get the memo about the Monica Lewinsky scandal. She said in her previous book that Bill told her the day before he was going to go public saying that the affair was real. Well, Hillary, either you're wife of the year to stand by your man like that, or you're naive. You seriously weren't even just a tiny bit concerned? The last time I had a girlfriend and we lived together, when I come home at 3 in the morning, she was like, who is she? Who is she? Where you been? Who are you cheating on me? It's like, no. And the second question I want to ask Hillary Clinton, big question I want to ask. If you wanted to be president of the United States real bad, you missed your boat. Your ship sailed. The question is, why didn't you run for president of the United States in 2000 or 2004? Hello? Hillary, you ran for president too damn late. You were too late. You had worn out your welcome. You had an expiration date. The Democrats were already sick of you by 2008. That's why they threw you under the bus for Barack Obama, and they almost threw you under the bus again for Bernie Sanders. So I've been asking this since 2004, because I remember the 2004 race. You had Howard Dean running, you had John Kerry, John Edwards, Dennis Kucinich. And I was like, these are the Democrats. These are the best candidates you have running up against George W. Bush? Because I said, why aren't the Democrats bringing out their ace of spades? Why aren't they getting Hillary to run against Bush? Hillary can win against George W. Bush. So again, Hillary, why didn't you run 4 years earlier? You would have beat Bush. Hell, I would have voted for you back in 2004. Did I vote for you this time? No. I have never been more happier in my life to have voted third party. At first I thought I was wasting my vote, but right now I feel so clean right now that I voted third party. Was I tempted to vote for Hillary Clinton? Oh yes. I was thinking about voting for Hillary. Hey, Data. How long was I thinking about voting for Hillary?
0.68 seconds, sir. For an android, that is nearly an eternity.
My dad tried to talk me into voting for Trump. I'm not gonna lie, I was tempted. In the same way Luke Skywalker was tempted to turn to the dark side. Yeah, this was pretty much me in the voting booth, thinking about voting for Trump. Last year was the nastiest, most disgustingest election I've ever seen in my life. And that's saying something, considering somebody who's paid attention to a lot of elections in his lifetime. But I forced myself to go ahead and vote, because I said to myself, okay, gotta at least vote for Congress, gotta at least vote for the Senate and local politicians. So before I go any further, this is not an endorsement of Donald Trump or anything like that. Okay? Or any other candidate. That being said, so, Democrats, you lost an election. You're still pissed off, still sad about what happened. By the way, I didn't think any of this was going to happen. Hillary, look at these clips. If there's anybody who should have been crying on election night, it should have been me. I made a bet with my father that you were not only going to win, but win big. 2 weeks before the election, my father said, hey, I can't wait for Trump to become president. This was after Trump's pussy comments. And I said, dude, the second coming of you-know-who can't save Trump now. Trump's a goner. He's going down. He's finished. My dad literally said, you want to bet? Hells yeah, I want to bet. So seriously, I'm not making this up. We put money down on this. I told my dad, Hillary, that you were going to win so many states. The map was going to be so blue, America was going to look like one big giant swimming pool. I said the only states Trump was going to win was Mississippi, Alabama, Utah, and Kansas. My dad said, no, Trump's going to win. He's going to win. So the bet was if Trump won, so the bet was if you won, Hillary, my dad had to make my car payment for me. If Trump won, I had to make my dad's truck payment. Woo! You blew it. There's no other way to put it.
You blew it!
Was this all just a fluke? How could this have happened? But your favorite target is a country you used to like, Russia.
Very reliable, has concluded, if the election had been on October 27th, I'd be your president. And it wasn't. It was on October 28th, and there was just a lot of funny business going on around that. And ask yourself this, within an hour or two of the Hollywood Access tape being made public, the Russian theft of John Podesta's emails hit WikiLeaks. What a coincidence.
All right, Hillary. Let's get real. Hillary, you decided not to campaign hard enough in the so-called blue wall states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Indiana, Pennsylvania, because you assumed incorrectly that because those particular states had voted Democrat for president in 6 elections in a row, that they would automatically go in your win column. You seriously left that to chance? That's Vladimir Putin's fault? You screwed up on your congressional hearings over Benghazi by showing no signs of empathy by saying, what difference does it make? They're already dead. That's Russia's fault? You made literally the exact same mistake that Mitt Romney made in the 2012 election by bashing half the country.
You could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it. But that other basket of people are people who feel the government has let them down, the economy has let them down, nobody cares about them.
With your basket of deplorables phrase? So wait, so that's Russia's fault? Russia made you say that? Vladimir Putin hacked your mouth and made you say that? It's Putin's fault that you pissed off half the coal miners' unions, which have traditionally endorsed Democrats for president going back to Franklin Delano Roosevelt? You nakedly admitted to the coal miners' unions that you were going to shut down more coal mines in the name of fighting global warming. Then the coal miners understandably asked, hey, if you're going to shut down our coal mines, then what about us? What jobs are we going to work? What are we going to do? And your response to them was basically this, oh, don't worry, we'll retrain you. We'll retrain you in green jobs. And the coal miners understandably asked, question, what are these green jobs you speak of? Oh, well, they sort of kind of don't exist yet. Well, we'll work that out later. Don't worry, we'll retrain you. I'll retrain you after I win, after the election. Okay, I mean never. That's Russia's fault? You want to become the first woman president! I am woman, hear me roar! In other words, you made this election all about you. That's Russia's fault? It's like a comment on YouTube. First! Okay, Hills, because here's my question I had. What were you going to do after the election? After the inauguration? Okay, hooray, you broke the glass ceiling. Now what? I think, in my personal honest opinion, you and Donald Trump had one huge thing in common. You both just want to be president just for the sake of being president. In my opinion. So it's Russian hackers' fault that you didn't give us a better reason to vote for you? Other than, let's make history. It's Russia's fault that you had the lamest campaign sign I have ever seen in my life? What the hell is this? The H with the arrow through it. Seriously, what is that? That looks like a hospital parking lot sign. It's Russia's fault that you had the lamest campaign slogan of all time? I'm with her. What the hell does that even mean? That says nothing about where you stand on the issues. That tells me nothing about your positions. That tells me nothing where you stand on taxes or spending or nothing else. It's Russia's fault that you made this election all about what Trump said instead of what you were going to do as president? 91% of the media coverage of Donald Trump was negative. And to be honest and fair, half of that Trump brought upon himself. But that goes without saying. Hillary, the media was behind your back the whole way. Don't believe me?
To your point, I mean, if she does take quite a while longer, what happens to other folks who want a chance to run against her?
Because she's doing what they call in politics freezing pockets. Because the donors are giving her money thinking she's going to run. That means they're not going to have available money for other candidates if she doesn't. And I don't think she's going to give it to them.
She's on her way to deciding.
We'll see.
About deciding.
We couldn't help her any more than we have.
I know.
You know what I mean? She's got just a free ride so far from the media. We're the biggest ones promoting her campaign.
Newsweek released this cover 2 days before the election, probably jinxing you. It's a modern day Dewey defeats Truman. What, did the Russians hack the 1948 election too? Hillary, listen to me very carefully. The states of Montana, Louisiana, Arizona, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, West Virginia, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. These were all states your husband Bill Clinton won in 1992 and 1996. And you didn't win a single one of those states I just listed. That's Vladimir Putin's fault. Is it also fair to say that the country was slightly more conservative 25 years ago? Your husband Bill can win these states, yet you couldn't get it just one? Trump won. Now I want to say something about sports. I'm sorry you lost, but numbers are stubborn things. Trump won 30 out of 50 states, plus an electoral college vote in Maine. Yet you, Hillary, only won 20 out of 50 states, plus Washington, D.C. Let me repeat that. 30 states said yes to Trump, and only 20 states said yes to Hillary. But the election was stolen! It was stolen, I tell you! It was stolen! The Russians hacked it! It was stolen!
Shenanigans! Shenanigans! Shenanigans!
Give me a break. Back to Russia. So it's Russia's fault that an estimated 1.1 million Bernie Sanders supporters stayed home on election day? Okay, I'm telling you that because I will say to the Bernie Sanders supporters, dear Bernie Sanders supporters, you guys are people of your word. You sure showed me. You said you were going to stay home on election day if Hillary won the nomination, and I said you guys were full of shit. I said, no way you're going to let Orange Crush become president. Because I heard the same thing when I was in college. We want Howard Dean or Dennis Kucinich. I don't like John Kerry. You know what? Y'all voted for John Kerry anyway. I heard from diehard Hillary Clinton supporters back in 2008 when Obama got the nomination. No, I'll vote for McCain if you make Obama the nominee. You lied, you bluffed, you all voted for Obama. So here we go again. The Bernie Sanders supporters saying, I mean it. I'm staying home if Hillary's the nominee. I mean it. It's like, sure you are, amazing atheist. Sure you are. We see you on election day. Well, you sure showed me. Back to you, Hillary. In spite of that fact that Bernie Sanders endorsed you, many of his supporters did not. I do recall this. This actually happened. I may or may not have the footage for this, but I'm going to just say what happened anyway. A Bernie Sanders supporter walked up to Hillary Clinton and said to her, hey, Bernie said he was going to give me free college. What are you going to give me? And Hillary's response, I'm almost quoting, this is, I'm paraphrasing, this is pretty much what she said. She said to the Bernie Sanders supporter, well, I think that some people should pay for college. I'm not going to sponsor Trump's kids to get free college. And I think that some other people should get free college. Okay, Hillary. Follow-up question. Who gets the free college and who still has to pay for it? We both knew your answer was, oh, we'll figure that out after I win. We'll figure that out after the inauguration and everything. Nice going. You left it to chance again. Oh, but Russia did that. Now, I want to get to Democrats in general. And again, please don't take this as a personal attack. Take this as me trying to help you, okay? Take this as looking outside in. I'm trying to give you some free advice. Okay? But I'm still going to bitch about it. Dear Democrats and Hillary Clinton supporters, you know, I'm sick and tired of hearing there's one excuse that I say is inexcusable, which was this: oh, we couldn't see this loss coming. Hillary was overwhelmingly favored. She was a 95% chance of winning. We couldn't see this loss coming. Bullshit. You had warning signs. You had dead giveaway warning signs. Don't give me this horse shit you didn't see it coming. First of all, Democrats, you lost a major election right before the 2016 election. Hello? You lost the Senate in 2014. Don't you think that should have been the canary in the coal mine? As a matter of fact, ever since Obama won in 2008, Democrats have only won 2 major elections. The 2012 presidential election and the off-year elections in New Jersey, Virginia, and New York last night. 3 states who voted for Hillary Clinton anyway. And you guys are spiking the football saying, yeah, we're back. You won states that were blue anyway. Second of all, Democrats, this year, in the year 2017, you have lost 5 out of 5 special elections. Do the Russians hack those elections too?
Democrats have lost these 4 states, Kansas, Montana, South Carolina, Georgia, since Trump has been elected. And we got some of the posters that they were using in these races. I think it'll show you that they're less than inspiring. For example, look at these posters. Democrats, consistently one of America's top 2 parties. Democrats, thank you, sir. May I have another? The Democrats will never make you sick of winning. Meh. Democrats, join the party of Bernie Sanders. Not actually the party of Bernie Sanders. The Democrats preferred 2-to-1 by non-citizens. The Democrats, let us win one or we'll run Chelsea. The Democratic Party, wait, we thought everyone got a trophy.
And finally, you know where I'm going next, because you're all screaming it at the screen. The Electoral College! The Electoral College! The Electoral College! Yeah. What about the Electoral College?
Do you think the Electoral College should be abolished?
I said that in 2000. After what happened to the 2000 election with Al Gore. We've moved toward one person, one vote. That's how we select winners. I was amused after the French elections when I was listening to an interview with a French electoral expert, and he said, well, unlike your country, the person who wins the most votes wins. So I think it needs to be eliminated. I'd like to see us move beyond it, yes.
Hillary, I have a follow-up question. You were in the United States Senate for 8 years. 8 years. Why didn't you propose a bill to ban or modify the Electoral College? Why didn't you put that to a vote? Again, Democrats, it's not like you didn't get a warning, i.e. the 2000 election, where Bush won the state of Florida by 537 votes, yet lost the popular vote by 500,000. Because I know what your thinking was. Your thinking was, oh, that was a once in a generation. Something like that. That only happens like once every 100 years. Well, happened twice in 16 years. Democrats, you had full control of Congress from 2007 to 2011. If you wanted to do something about the Electoral College, that was your chance to do it. And you didn't do it. Because you didn't think it was going to happen again. And it did. So Democrats, you're all crying, you're all whining and weeping because you lost. Please. Are you aware of the fact when it comes to President of the United States, only once have I ever voted for president? And the guy actually won. I suck at voting for president. But I'm pretty good at mayor, though. Always on the right side of a mayoral election. Hell, pretty damn good picking governor, too. But city council, finally, yesterday was election day. Finally, 3 out of 4 of the city council people I voted for won. It's like, oh, that drought's over. I vote all the time, even though my side doesn't always win. Okay, and I voted down the line, both parties, 3 parties actually. I voted for all 3 parties. I voted third party. I've written in, and yours truly has also run for office twice. I only got 4% of the vote, but went to bed that night going, 4% of the people out there like me. Okay, here's a brand new segment for my Volcano me's, and like I said, I wouldn't be doing this Volcano me unless I had a unique perspective on something. It's a new segment I like to call, Here is Something Nobody is Talking About. Okay, here's something nobody's talking about. Hillary, here is how bad you did in the 2016 election. Back to Wisconsin. Take Wisconsin, for example, which has not voted Republican since 1984 until now. Did you know that Donald Trump did worse than Mitt Romney? And he still won the state of Wisconsin. Let me repeat that, okay? Here's the numbers. 2012, Obama won Wisconsin by 1.63 million votes. Romney lost with 1.408 million votes. 2016, Trump wins Wisconsin with 1.405 million votes. Hillary, 1.38 million votes. That means if we combine the 2012 and 2016 presidential election and combine it into one, that means Hillary Clinton came in 4th place. She doesn't even get the bronze medal. Again, everybody, say it with me now. That's Russia's fault. The same thing happened in the state of Michigan. Obama got 2.56 million votes in 2012. You, Hillary, only got 2.25 million votes in 2016. Trump beat you in Michigan with 2.3 million votes. More bad news, Democrats. Did you know that hypothetically, that even if Hillary had won the state of Pennsylvania and Michigan, she still would not have become president?
Hey, just recording this because I got some of the numbers wrong, so I'm making an alternative. Let me show you an alternate map where I'm actually going to give Hillary 3 states. I give her Michigan, I give her Pennsylvania, and as I mentioned before, Donald Trump received an electoral college vote in Maine. So I'm going to give her Maine, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. As you can see, Hillary is still 2 electoral college votes shy, but Trump is also shy of 270 at 269. And this is a scenario that was very real and very well could have happened. For the record, Hillary officially only got 227 electoral college votes because 10 faithless electors decided to go with Colin Powell, John Kasich, Bernie Sanders, and Spotted Eagle. But I didn't have anywhere to put those on the map here. Just wanted to point that out.
Trump also wouldn't have had 270. He would have gone down to 268. I know Democrats are thinking, oh yeah, we'd have been okay with that. We'd have been okay with neither Trump nor Hillary getting 270. So yeah, so the election's a tie, right? Wrong. Trump still becomes president. But neither one gets 270. Read the Constitution. You want to hear something crazy? Hey, Democrats, you might want to sit down because your head is about to be blown. Did you know that if Donald Trump had lost Michigan and Pennsylvania, and you know what? I'm even going to give the Democrats the Senate, just to throw it in, just to make your heads explode. Then guess what happens? The Constitution says Congress selects the president and the Senate selects the vice president. Dear Democrats, remember when you guys lost your damn minds in the 2000 election when the Supreme Court ordered that the Florida recounts end? You guys screamed that Bush wasn't elected, he was selected by the Supreme Court. Well, guess what? If Trump and Hillary, if Trump loses Pennsylvania and Michigan, guess what? Trump literally would have been selected as president. I'm pretty sure there have been riots in the street that day. Best case scenario, maybe, just maybe, the Republican Congress might have picked Mike Pence to be president. But wait, there's more. If again, I give Pennsylvania and Michigan to Hillary, and I give the Democrats 2 more Senate seats. Get all of this. Trump becomes president, and Hillary Clinton's vice presidential candidate, Tim Kaine, becomes vice president. Head blown. Now, I know what you guys are saying. This would never, ever, ever happen. It already has happened. This scenario has happened before. The election of 1824, with President John Quincy Adams versus future President Andrew Jackson. In the election of 1824, neither Andrew Jackson nor John Quincy Adams got enough electoral college votes to put him over the top. Guess what happened? Congress selected John Quincy Adams to be president. Wait, there's more? Like Trump, he also didn't win the popular vote. Now, Andrew Jackson would get revenge later. 4 years later, Andrew Jackson would beat him in the 1828 election. The point is, yes, this has happened before. One final thing about the Electoral College, and then I will move on. Democrats, I really hate to do this to you guys, okay? But Hillary wins the popular vote for one reason and one reason alone. And my apologies if you're from there, but that is solely because of the state of California. Hillary Clinton kicked Donald Trump in the balls in the state of California. She beat Trump 2-1. 8 million votes versus Trump's 4 million votes. Okay? Guys, if I take away the state of California, guess what? Trump wins the popular vote by 1.5 million in the other 49 states. Head blown. I'm all ears for solutions. My personal opinion is I think the Electoral College needs to be broken up. Not done away with, just broken up a little bit. Instead of it being winner take all for big states. Okay, for small states I understand, like Alaska and Wyoming, I can understand all the Electoral College votes going to the winner. But come on, Texas and New York and California, all 54 Electoral College votes. Let me show you state of California. Let me show you district-wise. Click. Not as blue as you think. Now here's Texas. Click. Ah, you see some blue in Texas. The point is some Electoral College votes could go to Democrats in Texas, and some Electoral College votes in California could go to Republicans. I'm just saying that's how I think it should be done. That's just my 2 cents. Listen, I have a tradition. After every election, I love listening to the losing side. I love hearing their excuses. You better believe when Obama won twice, I was listening to a lot of conservative talk radio, hearing what their excuses were. But I have noticed, and yes, when Trump won, you better believe, watching a lot of Young Turks, watching a lot of, the liberal channels on YouTube, you better believe that. And you know what I've noticed? I noticed one huge thing. Let's get something straight here, and this is what really pisses me off. When Republicans lose elections, they point the finger and they blame each other.
Okay, sit down. I'm about to have my way with you, all of you. Okay? And I told you so. And this is the saddest I told you so I've ever had to utter on the air. 42 years. And it is the saddest I told you so. I told you this jerk was going to win 4 more years. The jerk won because Republican jerks made it possible for him to win. I was warning my listeners that the Democrats were going to come back. It may take years, but they were going to come back, and they would come back with a vengeance. Todd Akin, Richard Murdoch, John Koster, especially you, Todd Akin, especially you, Richard Murdoch. You are 2 men who very well may personally shoulder the responsibility for this Obama win. You morons. You idiots.
But when Democrats lose an election, it's a conspiracy, man. It's a conspiracy. It was stolen from us, man. Democrats, I think the last election that you guys admit that you lost fair and square was like, what, 1988 when Michael Dukakis lost for riding around in a little tank? One more thing I want to mention about why both Hillary and the Democrats keep losing elections these days, and then guess what? I will move on to the Republicans. Here's my final couple of points I want to make. I want to say it's the Democratic Party, if you are smart. As in the Oompa Loompa song, if you are wise, you will listen to me. What I'm shocked about is that nobody's noticed this. Not one of the political experts on CNN or MSNBC. Seriously, I could do a better job than them. I could get a commentator show. I would love that. And you know what I noticed, in my opinion? Democrats, you made literally, almost verbatim, the exact same 3 mistakes that Mitt Romney and the Republicans made in the 2012 election. Oh, yes, you did. You made the same 3 mistakes. Would you like to know what those mistakes were? Mistake number 1, bashing half the country. In the summer of 2012, Romney was actually polling 3 points ahead of Obama at one point in time, until he said this.
There are 47% of the people who will vote for the president no matter what. All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they are victims, who believe that government has a responsibility to care for them, who believe that they're entitled to health care, to food, to housing, to you name it. That it's an entitlement, and the government should give it to them. And they will vote for this president no matter what.
Then, Hillary, you decide to say to Mitt Romney, hold my beer.
You can put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
And then Keith Olbermann doubled down on that.
We aren't debating whether or not Trump supporters are deplorable. We're debating how many of them are. And by the way, Hillary Clinton was dead wrong about this. Half? What was that exactly that Hillary Clinton said about them again? Racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic. And your point? The correct number, Secretary Clinton, is not 50%. It's 100.
Hey, screw you, buddy. I love my dad. He's a Trump supporter, but still love the guy. He's not deplorable. Okay, everybody, whoever is running for president of the United States in the year 2020, seriously, go get a piece of paper and a pen and go write this down. Do not bash half the country. Okay? Put a little post-it note, all right? Write it on a chalkboard over and over again, like Bart Simpson. Mistake number 2, being smug as hell, believing in your own bullshit and underestimating your opponent. I remember when Sarah Palin ran for vice president, and she got in a lot of shit for saying, I don't remember what state she was in, but she said, well, unlike New York, I'm here in the real America. And oof, Jon Stewart did a tirade on that. I remember in 2008, 2012, these Republicans were making fun of Barack Obama for being a community organizer. This guy we're running against is a community organizer. Community organizer, what the hell is that? That's not a real job. Underestimate your opponent. And then remember when Newt Gingrich got in a lot of shit for saying this in the 2012 election?
President Obama is the most successful food stamp president in American history. More people are on food stamps today than at any point in American history, and he's proud of it.
Well, liberals, you decided again to tell the Republicans, hold my beer. You upped the ante. You know what? I'll just go ahead and play this clip. This guy summarizes it better than I could.
How much did that smug dismissal of the candidate help galvanize his support? I'm going to read a little chunk of an essay here by the American essayist Emmett Renson that was in Vox earlier this year, and then we're going to see a little clip from The Daily Show, which always has such good stuff to say. There is a smug style in American liberalism. It has been growing these past decades. It is a way of conducting politics predicated on the belief that American life is not divided by moral difference or policy divergence, not really, but by the failure of half the country to know what's good for them. an industry arose to cater to the smug style. It began in humor and culminated for a time in The Daily Show, a program that more than any other thing advanced the idea that liberal orthodoxy was a kind of educated savvy and that its opponents were, before anything else, stupid. The smug liberal found relief in ridiculing them. The internet only made it worse.
That works for Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart. Not so much if you're running for office. Democrats, you made this huge mistake after the 2012 election when Barack Obama won re-election. You guys were literally bragging. You were doing your little touchdown dance. You were spiking the football. And I heard Democrats say this. You guys said, that's it, the Republicans can never win another national election ever, 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 ever again. I'm sorry, was that the last presidential election we ever had? You guys were acting like that was it. That was it forever.
By the way, in the descriptions down below, you can find links to some of those articles that I posted, especially that Vox.com article about the smug style. It's a very, very interesting read, very good read. I highly suggest it. That's why I put a link down below. Before I continue, because before I showed this video, I showed it to a friend of mine, and he pointed out to me, or was starting to get upset with me. He was like, well, what about Flynn? He pled guilty to lying about Russia and stuff like that. Before I continue any further, I want to just say I am not against FBI investigations. I'm not against looking into things. What I'm saying is I'm tired of hearing excuses. That is the point of this video.
And finally, my favorite, mistake number 3. And this, in my opinion, is a big one. Making the base happy and no one else. I knew the Republicans were doomed in the 2012 election. Not a week before the election, not 1 month before the election, not 6 months before the election, 1 year before the election. I said, they fucked up. They're done. Pop quiz, hot shot.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Do you guys remember what 3 political issues the Republican Party was talking about in November of 2011, 1 year before the 2012 election? It was about 6 years ago, so I'll give you a moment to think about it. Okay, ready? Here are the 3 issues that the Republican Party was totally, completely bitching about in the 2012 election, but they were talking about this in November of 2011, which was issue number 1, a mosque at Ground Zero, whether or not Barack Obama is a Muslim, and 3, whether or not birth control should count as abortion. The Republicans went on and on and on. I even did a Volcano video on that 5 years ago. You know what the Republicans weren't talking about anymore? Jobs, the economy, infrastructure, trade, you know, the stuff Trump won on. So you know what happened? Romney went so far to the right in the Republican primary, he had no time to run back to the center to get the independent votes. And Democrats, you did the exact same thing in 2016. You guys ran so far to the left, you were embracing socialism, for God's sakes! And that kind of scared the voters off. Now, let's skip to just 2 years ago. And I'm going to ask you guys the same question. November 2015. Do you guys remember what 3 political issues you guys were talking about a year before the election? Go. Okay. The 3 issues you guys were obsessed about was 1, should we or should we not sue Christian business owners and force them against their will to cater a same-sex wedding? Issue number 2, whether or not we should ban free speech on college campuses of things we disagree with, you know. And the 3rd issue you guys were talking about, instead of jobs, the economy, infrastructure, trade, terrorism, and so on and so forth, the 3rd issue, I'll give you a hint, you're still talking about it right now. You guys were making a big stink about it 2 weeks ago. 2 words. Halloween costumes.
Who the fuck hired you? I have a different vision. You should step down. If that is what you think about being a senator, you should step down. It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not. Do you understand that? It's about creating a home here.
Halloween costumes!
Cause this is trigger now. And no one's there to save you from a joke that you don't like. Cause this is trigger now.
Democrats. we talk for a minute? You guys are the last group of people that I thought would attack Halloween. When I was a kid growing up, the people who attacked Halloween all the time were Christian conservatives. I remember when I was 10 years old, we were trick-or-treating out with my mom, and some Bible thumper came out screaming at the kids saying, "You're all going to hell! You're all going to hell for celebrating Satan's holiday!" And I looked up to my mom, I was like, "Mom, are we going to hell for trick-or-treating?" My mom walked over to that guy and had a few choice words for him. I expected the war on Halloween to come from Pat Robertson or Jerry Falwell and people like that. Now it's you who want to take the fun out of everything? Remember when conservatives were going on and on about the war on Christmas? Well, guess what? You started the war on Halloween! Let's get something straight here. When conservatives go on and on about the war on Christmas, they don't have a leg to stand on since, at the mall and shopping centers, they start putting up Christmas decorations after the 4th of frickin' July! But now, Democrats, you want to start this war on Halloween? What the hell are you doing? Am I the only one who thinks this? Are there any Democrats out there? Go in the comment section. Come on. Do you guys think this is ridiculous? You know what? Don't take my word for it.
Finally, new rule, the PC police have to stop lecturing us on which Halloween costumes are inappropriate or insensitive and leave Halloween to the people it was created for, middle-aged gay men. The fake outrage people get 364 days a year to be hypersensitive about everything. There has to be one day where going too far isn't just okay, it's celebrated. Halloween is supposed to be politically incorrect. That's why we say trick or treat instead of placate and coddle. Now look, I've spent weeks working on my polka hot ass costume. And when I knock on your door tomorrow, I don't want a sermon on bad taste, I want candy. And here's the point. Banning a hobo costume doesn't make the homeless feel better. It makes you feel better. This is the lazy liberalism in which scolding has become a substitute for actually doing something. And here's the thing. Reasonable people see self-righteous liberal busybodies trying to leech the fun out of everything, and they say, fuck, I'm gonna vote Republican because I just can't stand being on the same team as these humorless jack-offs.
Whoa, stop. Play that last part again.
Reasonable people see self-righteous liberal busybodies trying to leech the fun out of everything, and they say, fuck, I'm gonna vote Republican because I just can't stand being on the same team as these humorless jack-offs.
Bingo, that's it right there. He is 1000% right. Because I was feeling the same way, and many other voters were feeling the same way. He was right. The bottom line here is, Democrats, Russia didn't do this to you. You did this to you. I think voters saw what happened at the University of Missouri, where college students were protesting over nothing, calling everybody Nazis and fascists. And I think they said, wow, are we going to get this nationwide next?
You need to get out.
I actually don't.
All right. Hey, who wants to help me get this reporter out of here? I need some muscle over here.
Seriously, you're starting to scare me. 40% of millennials on college campus these days now say that they no longer believe in free speech. And not only that, but they say that triggered speech, or stuff that they deem hateful, 1/3 of them said that it should be so illegal that you should even be arrested for it. Wow. Democrats, you were the party of hippies. You were the party that stood up to Richard Nixon in the Vietnam War. You were the bastions of freedom of speech. And now you're the party of censorship. What's going on here? That is why you're losing elections. Democrats and Hillary Clinton supporters, my final point is this. Reasonable people, reasonable voters see stuff like this and say to hell with you. I mean, for gosh sakes, this was literally your 2016 campaign strategy. You racist, sexist, xenophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic person, please vote for Hillary. I'm pretty sure that person went back.
Fuck, I'm gonna vote Republican because I just can't stand being on the same team as these humorless jack-offs.
Oh, by the way, yes, that's exactly what happened. I talked to a ton of people who were gonna vote for Trump and I asked them why. Where's been crazy? They told me something really weird. I asked them, do you honestly think he's gonna build a wall? I talked to a ton of Trump supporters in this town who told me, I think it's bullshit. I don't think Trump's going to build a wall. It's not going to happen. And I go, so why are you voting for him? You know what they said that was quite interesting? They didn't care about the wall, at least the ones I talked to. One Trump supporter said something very fascinating to me. And it wasn't a relative. It was a guy I used to gamble with. It was a guy I used to play poker with. He's told me this, and I'll never forget this. He said, I'm voting for Trump because sick and tired of apologizing for being me. What do I mean for being you? Who's asking you to apologize for being you? Tired of apologizing for America. Tired of apologizing for being me. Tired of apologizing for this and that. I asked him, so what set you off? And he talked about when Obama went to Europe. He called it the Obama Apology Tour. He was really pissed off about that. I was like, Trump, it's okay to be an American again. I'm just saying. You've alienated a ton of people, and I don't think you realize that. The point is, when you yell and scream and call people racist and fascists and Islamophobes, homophobes, whatever phobes, they're not going to vote for you. But Democrats may remind you of something. You used to win elections when you talked like this.
A fundamental belief, I am my brother's keeper, I am my sister's keeper, that makes this country work. It's what allows us to pursue our individual dreams and yet still come together as one American family. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America.
When you talk like this, you win elections.
I still believe in a place called hope, a place called America. Thank you. God bless you.
So stop blaming Russia and start fixing yourselves. This has been Volcano Me. Oh, wait, final thought. I know there's a ton of people watching this YouTube video going, a lot of conservatives, a lot of Trump supporters probably watching this going, yay, yay, yeah, rock on, man, way to give it to Hillary, yay, yay, we love you. Hold on a minute. Republicans, I got two words for you. You're next.
From Russia with